Ladies and gentlemen, we know in South Africa the pass rate for school is 30%. And it looks like the ANC is starting to understand that 30% is their pass rate for the 2024 election. Because Fikile Mbalula was on a podcast for the Sunday Times, and this is what he said.
The anger. It's only a fool who can then ululate for a 60% polling, and worse of all, being an incumbent. Only a fool. I get shocked that the ANC is polling at 49-50%. I'm expecting ANC to be polling at 30%. The mood is not right. People are not happy.
That's not what the polls tell us. The polls tell us that the ANC is trending between 45 and 50%.
But the reason why he's saying that is not because they're actually going to get 30%. They're going to get much higher and then just claim it as a victory.
So I think this is exactly what the ANC's electoral strategy will be. They will claim that they're on the verge of defeat. They will claim that they will advertise their gains since the dawn of democracy. Having advertised their gains since the dawn of democracy, they're going to claim that they got a better result. And so this shows that the public have a renewed faith in the ANC, which means that the ANC has renewed itself, right?
But for them to claim 30%, I mean, 30% is a pass rate in South Africa, so maybe that is their new sort of decolonized pass rate for 2024. So, I mean, hopefully they are right. For once in my life, Byron, I actually hope the ANC are correct about this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a strange one, Ramon, because 30% is what the ANC deserves. In fact, the ANC deserves far less than that, but we also know that the electorate in South Africa is rather illiterate. So what's the ANC strategy here? Well, the ANC can do one of two things. The first is it can admit that its failed ideology has led to the collapse of South Africa. It's not going to do that. If it was going to do that, it would have done that underneath the dawn of Cyril Ramaphosa. It wouldn't have become more extremist. It would have said all the policies we were going to pursue, they're really bad. Let's not do it. Let's return to a Mbeki type era. Maybe let's adopt a little bit of Thatcherite type ideas. But they didn't do that. They went further to the left. So now what is the strategy? Well, the only strategy is to say, well, actually, we actually didn't do that bad. So it's just clever marketing in order to try and make things seem less problematic. We grew as a party because we highlighted our gains. And by highlighting our gains, the people put their renewed faith in us. So the ANC is not a party in decline. It's a party in renewal.
Here is the catch-22. What happens if Fikile Mbalula is actually correct? Let's assume, for example, the ANC does get 30% of the votes. All our contentions about coalitions, about who's going to hook up with who after 2024, that is all out of the window. Like completely out of the window. The only way it could work is an ANC DA coalition. Because if they get 30%, EFF will get 10%, PA might get 4 or 5, and the other parties might not even rise to the 50% mark. What would the ANC rather want? One coalition partner that they can control, i.e. the DA, or like 10 parties who want their own things? So if Fikile Mbalula is right, the ANC DA coalition makes the most sense for the ANC.
Well, for me personally, Ramon, I think the ANC DA coalition makes the most sense because the DA, to quote the DA, gets things done. And so what you could do is you could get the DA into power. You could get them to help you fix infrastructure to actually govern a little bit better and then claim it's an ANC success, right? We've seen this being done elsewhere. And it usually spells the defeat of the party you go into coalitions with. Coalitions very rarely damage the main lead, but they always damage the minor party. It very rarely helps the smaller coalition party, and it would spell the end of the DA. But the DA would come into power for 4 or 5 years, probably clean the place up. ANC will just claim it as a success. So to me personally, that coalition makes the most sense. If the ANC gets 30%, they don't have enough electoral support to form a coalition without the DA.
To be honest, I still think the ANC is wrong on this. I think they're going to get 40, 45%. France Grenier does say 50% based on his latest polling, but it's still a year out of the election. We've been through stage 6 load shedding since that poll was taken, and we do know that once stage 6 hits, the entire mood of the country just like disappears into anxiety and depression for the most part.
But I think there may come a golden moment for South Africa where the ANC's chances of being empowered till Jesus comes back is gone. And I think that may be if Putin sets foot on South African soil. Because the minute that happens, the exchange rate is going to die. The minute we have financial fleeing, the exchange rate will be gone. And what's going to happen is South African government will default on its bonds. The minute it defaults on the bonds, Sassa grants dry up. Sassa grants dry up, we have protests. So South Africa at the moment may see a way out of this. But if that twilight event occurs, that's it, man. We have another riot in this place. We have another July moment. ANC won't even get 30%, mate. It will be done.
It's either that or a complete grid shutdown, which is less likely than a July 21 riot.
Hey, I don't know about that, mate. Like, I really don't know about that because the amount of times that the ANC draws reference to the possibility of a grid failure at the moment, they're just doing it too much. Like, if it wasn't a possibility, you just go, it's not possible. And you'd be done, right? You just be done. But it's like every conference now, it's like, no. We've had reassurance, a grid collapse. It's like, now it's like too much. Now I'm like, no, you guys are worried about this. Otherwise, you wouldn't draw a reference to it every single time we talk to you. So I don't know about that, man. I just think that ANC is too coy when it comes through to that topic.
All right, so the Morningstar recommendation is we want July riots on steroids and a grid shutdown. And then the ANC will get 30%.
ANC gets 15% at that rate. Like, it's dead.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. If Fikile Mbalula thinks he'll get 30% at the next election for the ANC, let us know down in the comments down below. What do you think the ANC will get next year? And most importantly, what are the permutations concerning the coalitions? Because if the ANC is 30%, everything's up for grabs. Absolutely everything.